Well, it's not mine. It's the agency's.
I understand. So maybe field that to Dolores.
Yep, that would go right to the sheriff.
Will do.
So you guys don't have badge numbers?
No, we have radio numbers.
Radio number.
Yeah.
Get your radio number, please, Mr. Johnson.
2343.
Pardon me?
2343.
2343. Can I ask you a couple questions real quick? Why is it that the deputies and officers are a lot of times really reluctant to say that and feel sort of like humiliated when someone asks them for their name and badge numbers and to identify themselves, yet they're going to put us in a cage if we don't?
I don't have a problem with it. I don't know why other deputies would have an issue with.
So you have no idea whatsoever
Why the other deputies do.
Right.
Like I said, I don't have a problem with it, and I think you guys.
Well, I understand that, and you didn't, and you're acting very professional.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I appreciate that. But you honestly can say that you haven't noticed that at all with any of your
I am aware
colleagues?
that deputies do get a little, because I don't say the reasoning. I don't know, and I've never actually asked them.
The interaction begins calmly, but an important issue is raised right away. The auditor asks why officers often hesitate to share their names or badge numbers when requested. While citizens are expected to comply immediately with police orders, officers sometimes appear uncomfortable identifying themselves. One deputy responds professionally, explaining that he personally has no problem giving his information, even though he cannot speak for others.
Okay, so have you ever heard of First Amendment auditors?
First Amendment auditors.
Auditors, yeah. Have you heard that? Have you had any instruction from your chain of command on First Amendment auditors?
Being specifically known off the top of my head.
Okay, but you've heard the word.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I imagine that you have a negative opinion of First Amendment auditors. Would that be accurate?
Well, without looking at it, I don't want to say I have a negative or positive until I'm specific.
Well, I would say that you guys have had a conversation about people photographing in public, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you know.
Okay.
And we've had even training and stuff like that has came up with it.
Yeah.
And you know, to my understanding and the way I understand my training is, you guys have the legal ability to do it.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is as long as it's not affecting my safety or the safety of the person if I'm dealing with somebody else or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's where we're training. Hey, if they're over there doing it, or if you direct them and they go over there just to kind of be out of our officer safety.
As the conversation continues, the auditor acknowledges the deputy's professionalism and respectful tone. He points out that many officers seem defensive when asked simple questions about identification. The deputy admits he has not personally questioned colleagues about this behavior, but insists he sees no logical reason to refuse such requests. The tone remains calm and respectful on both sides.
I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah.
That's why they're training us to do that. Versus getting, now I know that there has been some case law. There's also been videos that have been posted where officers are getting very defensive of videoing.
Yeah.
And what's there behind there, that's between them and their agency and what they've gone through. Some of them have gotten in trouble for it. I mean, the courts have stepped into some of those and everything else. So the biggest thing is as long as it comes into the safety, you guys can video all day long.
Yeah.
So that right.
So I have one question I want to get out. As many as you're going to tolerate, but I want one for sure, and that is, so you know that filming in public is a constitutionally protected activity, right?
Right.
So if I'm in a public space where I have a constitutional right to film, and the person that say a supervisor that's supervising over that public space doesn't like her picture taken, doesn't like what I'm doing, and she calls the sheriff's office and says, I want these people off of my property. Okay, so you've taken an oath to protect my rights, right? So my question is, when you arrive there...
The discussion shifts toward First Amendment auditors. The deputy confirms he has heard of auditors and has received some training regarding people filming in public. He clarifies that filming is legal as long as it does not interfere with officer safety or active police work. According to his training, officers are encouraged to manage situations safely rather than react defensively.
Are you going to go up to the supervisor and ask what they want done, or are you going to make sure that my rights are protected?
Well, we're going to find out what the totality of the circumstances are.
I'm filming in public.
Are you on private property or not? Understand what I'm saying? If you, because you have the right to trespass people from your private property. If you're on public property, then yeah, you can do it. As long as obviously you don't fall within.
What if you're at a post office? Would you consider that private property?
What's that?
A post office.
A post office? within the parking lot and the confines of that building, depending on which building it is, it usually is private property.
Okay, so that's the way
I
they're...
understand that there's tax base that comes into it. Does it now become public property because it's a tax base item or not?
And so...
You're getting into federal stuff.
Right. So, but this opinion that you have, the reason that you're going to do it that way is because that's the way you were trained, correct?
Well, here's the question is that who actually owns the building?
The deputy openly acknowledges that citizens have the legal right to record in public spaces. He explains that officers are trained to balance constitutional rights with safety concerns. If filming does not endanger anyone, it should not be restricted. He also admits that some officers have faced legal consequences for reacting improperly to being recorded.
Exactly.
So I'm guessing this is related to a case that happened up in Hayden?
Well, it's happening everywhere.
Okay.
It's happening everywhere.
And so who is the owner of that property?
Right.
Is it the post office that owns that property or not? Okay. So if it's the post office does not own it and they lease that property, then it's still not government because it's a leased property.
Well, and then the way the law's written too, whoever's running the site can essentially...
Yep, and that's where you run into...
And then essentially, even if, like I got trespassed yesterday just for filming at CityLink. And
okay, yeah.
I was there for literally 5 minutes and had the police called on me.
And they didn't talk to him, but see what happened. They went over there to say, how do we want to violate this man's, how do you want us to violate this man's rights?
Well, that's the person that called, so we want to go to them. The reason why we usually will go to them first is going, what is going on? We need to know, why are you calling us here other than what they've provided to dispatch?
The conversation becomes more complex when the auditor asks about filming at locations like post offices. The deputy explains that many government buildings are technically private or leased property, depending on ownership. This distinction often causes confusion, even among officers, because enforcement depends on who owns or controls the property rather than who funds it.
Okay, and sometimes we even want to confirm what they're saying to dispatch is still what's going on. So that's why a lot of times we will go to the RP or the reporting party first, contact them, find out what is going on, and then figure it out from there. Now, if it's going over and going, okay, if it's you, for an example, hey, what's going on? I'm being told this. Is that what's going on? So we should be getting both sides of the story and then finding out if there's a violation or if this is not a violation.
So here's my question.
Okay.
If I'm in a public space and I have a constitutional right to film in a public space and the supervisor there says, I want him kicked out of here because he's filming in a public space and I don't like it. I want him out of here. He's filming and I don't like it. Okay, are you going to do what they say, or are you going to say, ma'am, we can't kick him off of this property for filming. He has a constitutional right to film.
The auditor challenges the deputy with a realistic scenario. What happens when a supervisor demands someone be removed simply for filming? The deputy explains that officers must first gather all facts by speaking to both parties. Their goal is to determine whether a law has been broken, not to blindly enforce personal discomfort or authority.
It's kind of the way the law's written.
Are you going to protect our rights, is what I'm saying. Nobody's protecting our rights, sir.
Right. We have to go within the guidelines of those rights as well. So if you are on the curb and you are filming, as long as you're not following the, obviously, like voyeurism laws of filming, I mean, just saying that there are state statutes that cover certain things, but if you are on the public roadway and you're videoing and they say, hey, I don't want that person there, I don't want them videoing, I would come to you and say, hey, just let you know this happened, this is the person that said it, and I would tell the other person, they have every legal right to stand there and videotape.
You hear that, Kootenai County Sheriff's Office? You need to get this man right here promoted. Mr. D. Johnson, he walked up here and was very professional. He didn't snub us. He didn't roll his eyes in the back of his head when we talked to him. Yep. And I want to highlight this officer right here. I am audit CDA Idaho. I have no animosity.
When pressed further, the deputy makes his position clear. If someone is filming legally from a public space, officers should inform complainants that the individual has the right to record. As long as no laws are violated, filming cannot be used as grounds for removal. This moment highlights the importance of proper training and understanding of constitutional protections.
Towards law enforcement whatsoever, and I hope that this officer or this deputy here shines because he's actually impressed me personally in this conversation I've had. I think he's uninformed. He's uninformed about the private citizens' constitutional rights versus business or government supervisors. I think it's the leadership and training, I think, is what's going on here. It's not this person's heart. This person, I can see, has a good heart, and I commend him, and thank you very much for answering some of my questions, buddy. I appreciate it. No, man.
Okay.
Hey, could you give me a shout out? Audit CDA Idaho.
Audit CDA.
Yeah,
Idaho.
just say watch Audit CDA Idaho.
See Idaho. Watch Audit CDA Idaho.
Charlie Delta Alpha. Watch CDA Idaho. Hey, don't worry about it, bud. Thanks. I appreciate you, man.
Okay, guys.
You've been great.
Appreciate it. If you guys need anything else,
All right, we're
let us
good.
know.
Have a
Okay,
good
guys.
one.
Can I search your car?
Search my car?
Yeah. Can I pat you down?
No.
The exchange ends on a positive note. The auditor publicly praises the deputy for his professionalism, patience, and respectful attitude. He emphasizes that the issue is not individual officers, but leadership and training gaps. Both sides part ways calmly, demonstrating how respectful conversation can lead to better understanding between citizens and law enforcement.